Good morning, students. From your first flight book, we are doing chapter number 9, Madam Rides the Bus, part 2. Well, one fine spring day, the afternoon bus was just on the point of leaving the village and turning into the main highway when a small voice was heard shouting, "Stop the bus! Stop the bus!" and a tiny hand was raised commandingly. So it was spring season and afternoon time when the bus was about to leave the village and turn to the main highway. Then a voice was heard shouting and raising hand commandingly, "Stop the bus! Stop the bus!" The bus slowed down to a crawl and the conductor, sticking his head out of the door, said, "Hurry then, tell whoever it is to come quickly." So the bus slows down and the conductor, sticking his head out of the door, announces to the voice who is to come on board the bus. "Come on quickly." "It's me," shouted Valli. "I am the one who has to get on." So Valli announces, "That's me. I want to board this bus." By now the bus had come to a stop and the conductor said, "Oh really? You don't say so." "Yes, I simply have to go to town," said Valli, still standing outside the bus. "And here's my money." She showed him some coins. So the bus comes to a halt and conductor says, "Oh really? You don't say so." So conductor was amazed to see a small girl who wishes to board the bus. "Yes, I simply have to go to town." Valli announces that, "Yes, I am to board this bus because I want to go to town." She was standing outside the bus and she showed him money that she's carrying coins also so that she can board this bus. Okay, but first you must get on the bus," said the conductor, and he stretched out a hand to help her up. "Never mind," she said. "I can get on by myself. You don't have to help me." So the conductor when he notices that the girl is carrying money and she wants to board the bus, so he says, "Okay, first you have to enter the bus before paying the money." So the conductor stretches his hand to help the girl, but then Valli, she did not take it. She said, "Never mind. She can help herself and she does not want help from anyone. She will board the bus by herself." The conductor was a jolly sort, fond of joking. "Oh, please, don't be angry with me, my fine madam," he said. "Here, have a seat right up there in front. Everybody, move aside, please. Make way for madam." So the conductor was a very cheerful and a happy person. So he said jokingly that, "Please don't be angry." When he was offering his hand to her, she said, "Never mind." So he says, "Please don't be angry." And then he asked her to sit down, to be seated right in front. So the conductor, making fun, says to the passengers that move aside, make way for the madam to sit. It was the slack time of day and there were only 6 or 7 passengers on the bus. They were all looking at Valli and laughing with the conductor. Valli was overcome with shyness. Avoiding everyone's eyes, she walked quickly to an empty seat and sat down. So it was a slack time, that is, there was not much work to do. So the passengers were very less. There were just 6 or 7 passengers, and Valli was altogether filled with embarrassment, and she goes and sits on her seat. "May we start now, madam?" the conductor asked, smiling. Then he blew his whistle twice, and the bus moved with a roar. The conductor addresses Valli as madam and asks permission if they can start, and then conductor whistles twice for the driver to understand that the bus should take up speed and move forward. It was a new bus, its outside painted a gleaming white with some green stripes along the side. Inside, the overhead bars shone like silver. Directly in front of Valli, above the windshield, there was a beautiful clock. The seats were soft and luxurious. So this bus was a new bus. Outside the bus on white paint was green stripes, and inside overhead bars were shining silver. And then Wally noticed that above the windshield there was a clock also. And then she notices the seats. The seats were very soft and luxurious. Wally devoured everything with her eyes, but when she started to look outside, she found her view cut off by a canvas blind that covered the lower part of her window. So she stood up on the seat and peered over the blind. So Wally, through her eyes, is observing very eagerly the bus, whether it's the soft cushions of the bus or the clock, every bit. And now she wanted to look outside the bus, but then her view was cut off because of the blind. So, to view the beauty outside the window, she stood up on the seat and started peering over the blind. The bus was now going along the bank of a canal. The road was very narrow. On one side there was the canal, and beyond it palm trees, grassland, distant mountains, and the blue sky. On the other side was a deep ditch, and then acres and acres of green fields, green, so far as the eyes could see. Oh, it was all so wonderful. Now, Wally wanted to know the beauty of the bus ride, the beauty of the nature through the window, the bus window. So she stood on this seat, and she notices there was a canal, there was palm trees, grasslands, mountains, blue sky, and on the other side was a ditch. And wherever, to the extent where eyes could see, she saw green, beautiful fields all around. And she saw this beautiful green fields, and she was all wonderstruck to see the beauty through the bus window of mountains, blue sky, fields, palm trees, etc. Suddenly she was startled by a voice. Listen, child, said the voice. You shouldn't stand like that. Sit down. Now Vali was standing on her seat and viewing the beauty outside the window, the bus window. And suddenly she got amazed, she got shocked because some voice came, and this was announced to Vali to sit down. Sitting down, she looked to see who had spoken. It was an elderly man who had honestly been concerned for her, but she was annoyed by his attention. Now she notices that an elderly man was there who got concerned at Vali standing on the seat. She might fall with a break or turn. So Wally got annoyed by the attention of this elderly man on her. There's nobody here who's a child, she said haughtily. I have paid my 30 paise like everyone else. So Wally very haughtily announces to the elderly man that she is not a child and she has paid the money 30 paise for her ride. The conductor chimed in, Oh, sir, but this is a very grown up madam. Do you think a mere girl could pay her own fare and travel to the city all alone? Now, the conductor comes, and we have already learned that the conductor is a very fun loving and a jolly sort of a person. So he says to the elderly person that, don't you know that this girl is grown up? She is traveling all alone to the city, and moreover she has paid the fare also of 30 paise. So the conductor was enjoying this. He was actually pulling legs of Wali. Wali shot an angry glance at the conductor and said, I'm not a madam. Please remember that. And you have not yet given me my ticket. I'll remember, the conductor said, mimicking her tone. Everyone laughed, and gradually Wali too joined in the laughter. So when conductor said to elderly man that the girl has paid for her travel and she's a madam, so Wali gave an angry look at the conductor announcing that she's not a madam, and then correcting the conductor that you have not given me my ticket. So conductor says, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I've not paid, given you the ticket, though you have paid. And he was saying this, copying the mannerisms and the tone of a Valli. Now the passengers, they were just less in number, 6 or 7, so they were enjoying this a little laughter between this conductor and Valli, and Valli also started at this, joined this fun and started laughing. The conductor punched a ticket and handed it to her. Just sit back and make yourself comfortable. Why should you stand when you have paid for a seat? So the conductor gives ticket to Wally and says that you have paid for the seat, so sit down. Why are you standing when you have paid one for the seat? Because I want to, she answered, standing up again. So she says, it's my desire to stand and view the things outside the bus. So that is why I'm standing. But if you stand on the seat, you may fall and hurt yourself when the bus makes a sharp turn or hits a bump. That's why we want you to sit down, child. So the conductor says that you're a small girl, and if you are not seated well, then you might fall or hurt if the bus is taking a turn or it's a bump, then there is a risk and you may fall. I'm not a child, I tell you, she said irritably. So, very irritatingly, she says again that I'm not a child. I'm 8 years old. Of course, of course. How stupid of me. 8 years, my. So Vali announces that she's 8 years old and she's not a child. So the conductor agrees that yes, it is stupid of him that he announces that she's a child. And then he makes a fun that yes, 8 years. He's pulling legs off Vali. The bus stopped, some new passengers got on, and the conductor got busy for a time. Afraid of losing her seat, Wally finally sat down, so the bus halted. The passengers boarded the bus. Conductor got busy giving them tickets, collecting money, and Wally realized that now definitely I'm going to lose my seat, so she sits down. An elderly woman came and sat beside her. Are you all alone, dear? She asked Wally as the bus started again. So, an elderly woman comes and she sits beside Wally. The woman notices that the girl is a small child and she notices she's all alone by herself. So, she questions, are you all alone? Wally found the woman absolutely repulsive. Such big holes she had in her earlobes and such ugly earrings in them. And she could smell the betel nut the woman was chewing and see the betel juice that was threatening to spill over her lips at any moment. Ah, who could be sociable with such a person? So, Wally notices this woman. She felt a strong dislike for her. Why? Because the woman had big holes in her earlobes, and moreover, the earrings the woman was wearing that were ugly looking, and the woman was chewing this betel nut, and the juice were all together on her lips, and also Wally felt that the juice might spill from her lips. So she felt disgusting and dislike for the woman, and she felt that who could be a sociable, who would like to fall in conversation with her and talk to her. Yes, I'm traveling alone, she answered curtly. And I've got a ticket too. So she announces to women that yes, she's traveling all alone and that she has paid for the ticket also. Yes, she is on her way to town, said the conductor with the 30 paise ticket. Oh, why don't you mind your own business? Said Wally. But she laughed all the same, and the conductor laughed too. So the conductor was listening to Wali and the elderly woman, and he says that the girl is a grown up girl and she has paid for her 30 paise ticket. And conductor started again making fun and pulling legs of Wali that she's traveling all alone and paid for the ticket also. So Wali says to conductor that you mind your own business, and then she started laughing, and conductor also laughed. But the old woman went on with her drivel. Is it proper for such a young person to travel alone? Do you know exactly where you are going in town? What's the street? What's the house number? Now, when this woman learned that the girl is all alone, so she was real worried. She started questioning her, complaining her that do you think it's proper for such a young person to travel all alone? And do you know where exactly you have to go in town? What's the street you have to go? What is the house number you have to go? So she started putting all questions to Valli. You needn't bother about me. I can take care of myself, Valli said, turning her face towards the window and staring out. So Wally got irritated with the questions coming from this elderly woman. She wanted to enjoy this bus ride. She did not want to fall in conversation with anyone. She was just mere having wanted this dream to come true of going from a village to the town and enjoy this bus ride and experience one. So she says to the woman, please don't bother about me. I'm grown up enough to take care of myself. And then she turns her face towards the window and started experiencing the beauty outside the bus window.